How do you find the right mentor for your career? Where do you even begin? Should you find someone within your department, within your company, or completely outside of your company? I know trying to find a mentor may seem daunting and intimidating, but trust me, I've been there and I'm here to share all the lessons I've learned along the way. So I'm going to be sharing, why is it so important for you to have a mentor? 5 steps on how to find the perfect mentor for you. And please take notes on that one. And then stay till the end because I'm going to be sharing 3 tips on how to make the most out of your mentorship sessions. If you haven't already, please hit like and subscribe to never miss content about how to thrive in your career. Now, let's begin. Why is having a mentor so important? You can go through your entire career trying to figure everything out on your own, which may take longer and it may be painful and harder. Or you can fast track your career growth and trajectory with a mentor by your side, or the right mentor by your side. And that's the key thing to know. What a mentor is meant to do is they're meant to offer you advice and support or guidance on how to navigate, different challenges that you're facing, to fill in the gaps on things you didn't know, if that makes sense. They're also there to help you avoid mistakes that they've made, and that saves you time. They're very invested in your growth, which is important and what I will get to just now. But essentially, a mentor is there to guide you and support you along the way. Now, the juicy part. How do you actually find the right mentor for you? And I've learned a lot along the way from different mentors who I've gelled with, who I haven't gelled with. And that's how I've created these 5 steps and hoping that they can guide you as well. So maybe take a book and a pen and just make some notes along the way. The first step that you need to do is you need to understand what it is that you need exactly. So what is it that you're looking for in a mentor, or what is it that you're looking to get out of a mentorship? You could ask yourself things like, or you can consider things like, what are my career goals in the short term, medium term, and long term? You could consider, what challenges are you currently facing and how to navigate it. If you've had your performance conversation recently and your manager says to you, listen, you need to improve on, or these are the areas for you to improve on, you can also take that into your mentorship discussions. And then some of the bigger things, like how do you approach performance conversations? How do you approach salary discussions? Or, you want to get promoted soon. There's a lot of things to consider before you try to figure out who it is that is perfect to help you. Step 2 is look beyond titles. Now, if you take anything away from this video, please let it be this one here. It is one of the key messages that I want to share with you today, and that is, do not get caught up in titles when looking for a mentor. Mentorship is not about rank. It is about finding someone that you respect, who's been where you were and where you want to go, and someone who is aligned in terms of your values. Are they invested in your growth, and then are they setting out time for you or allocating time for you? Sure, the most senior person may seem like the obvious choice, but I'm here to tell you that is not the case. So try to find someone who is 2 to 3 steps ahead of you in your career. Step 3, how to approach a potential mentor. Now, you hear me emphasizing potential, right? And that is the operative word. And I'm going to tell you why just now. But approaching a mentor is often seen as the most difficult or scary part of it all. And it doesn't have to be, because you just need to think you need to start small. And the idea is to build a relationship with someone. You need to first hit it off before you can see whether this person is perfect to be your mentor. And in the next step, I'm going to be actually sharing what are the things to consider when you find a mentor or know that they're the right mentor for you. But for this step is around approaching it. Think of this, right? You are on Tinder. You're trying to find your partner. And you see someone's bio and it sounds wonderful. And so you reach out to them and you ask them, like, can we please have a coffee and chat to get to know each other more? On that first date, you're not going to say, will you be my boyfriend? Or will you be my girlfriend? I'm not sure if people actually say that still. Showing my age. But basically, you're going to be getting to know them and seeing, oh, does this person's values align with my values? Do I like how they say things? Do I like how they treat people? You know, you're going to get to know them more. And it's the same with approaching a mentorship. You're going to first start by saying, maybe sending someone an email to say, hi, I am, put your name. So, hi, I am Sarisha, and I saw your work on this particular project. Let's say it's a marketing strategy for driving business growth. And I was really impressed by it. I was wondering if you had 30 minutes to chat about how you approached the strategy and how you plan to implement it. I'm going to be doing something similar in my role, and I'd love to learn more from you. Now, someone is more inclined to give you their time and energy if they see that you actually value what they're doing. I know when I started as an intern at 22 years old, so obviously straight out of varsity, there was a lot that I needed to learn and I needed to prove myself. And everyone was talking about this brilliant marketer, and she was young. She also started as an intern, and now she was like a comms consultant or manager at the time, can't remember. But basically, she was just a few steps ahead of me. And I was so intrigued by her. I wanted to know more. And so I sent her an email to ask if we could chat. And I said, I've heard so many great things about you, and I'd love to know more about your journey and how you're finding things in corporate. And, you know, thankfully she said yes, and we actually hit it off from our first meet. So, I mean, very, very grateful for that. And I always say that a lot of people who have come into my life or throughout my career, whether they've been titled as mentor or not, they've been instrumental in my growth, and she was a key part of it. So if you're watching this, thank you so much. So now to the next step is, how do you know actually that someone is the right person for you? What you need to do is you need to look for key qualities in a mentor. The first quality that you need to look for is expertise and experience. So you need to find someone who's experienced and has the expertise and knowledge in an area that you want to grow in, okay? It's not only about that. If someone, say I want to grow in business, okay? I'm not going to go to a, IT person and ask them to be my mentor if it's business that I want to grow in, okay? I am going to go to someone who is in business, who's 2 to 3 steps ahead of me, who knows a lot about the business, who knows a lot about products, for example, and can share that with me. But what is important is to find someone that shares their wisdom with you in a way that resonates with you and that's easy to understand. The second one is about being empathetic and patient. You need to find someone who's willing to share their knowledge with you, who's not going to rush you on your growth, right? Who's able, if you're finding something that's a little bit more difficult and you keep going to them for guidance or advice, you want to feel safe. Third is just honesty and constructive feedback. So in saying that is, you don't want to find a mentor that's going to be telling you what you want to hear. They need to be open and honest with you, because only when someone is open and honest with you can you actually grow, right? And I'm going to tell you the story. Someone became my mentor, and we were in a meeting together, and I was so nervous that someone asked me something or someone said something and I giggled nervously. And in my mentorship session with him, I asked him about approaching that particular meeting and how it could have been done better. But what he told me was how I came across in that meeting was immature. And that cut deep. It stings, even when I say it now. Or it stung, yeah. But it was good. It was good that I heard that, because then I was more mindful and intentional about how I approach meetings. Another point is availability. Now, it doesn't help if your mentor doesn't have the time for you. It's important. I mean, they don't have to be available 24/7 for you, but they do need to be available when you need them, and often on a regular basis. So maybe once a month, once a quarter. It depends on who that mentor is. But they need to take time, and during the session, it's important that they and you have active listening. So that's like really paying attention and listening to what they are saying. I did have another mentor that she would always cancel our meetings, and eventually I actually just stopped setting them up, and we never spoke after that again. But you need to find someone who is invested in your growth and wants to see you shine. Step 5 is building a two-way relationship. And I've been kind of weaving that in throughout our conversations. Say when, someone approaches me to be their mentee, is that, I'm so grateful that they've approached me and that they've considered me. But as much as they would like to learn from me, I also want to learn from them. So it's value adding on both sides. And that's something to keep in mind. Okay, mentorship doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. And you just need to be patient and continue to build that relationship with them. Now that you have those 5 steps figured out, I want to share with you some bonus tips on how to make the most out of your mentorship sessions, especially the early ones. So it's now that you've actually identified the mentor that's the perfect fit for you, you need to start by setting an expectation, or share your expectation of the mentorship session. Like what is it that you'd like to get out of the entire time with them, right? I'm going to give you an example. Is last year I approached someone to be my mentor after seeing that we gel and we hit it off, and one of the things that he asked me was, what is it that I want to get out of the session? And I realized, like, I had just started out in the business and I wanted to build my personal brand. I wanted people to know who Surisha was and the value that I could add to them and that I was adding to the business. And so I wrote that down. And a year later, so this year, I kind of reflected and looked back. So having this expectation at the onset kind of guides the conversations that you have, okay, going forward. It also helps you track back. So if I said I wanted to build my personal brand and I'm looking back, I can see, oh, okay, I think I've done this. This is areas I could have made improvements. What else can I do? And now, okay, it's the new year. And now that I've done that, let's look at the next thing. So do you see what I'm saying? The second one is being prepared. So I'm not saying in your mentorship sessions, you need to go with the full agenda and have it all structured or anything like that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying your mentor is taking the time to help you grow. Okay, you need to know what you want to discuss in those sessions. So have a topic, have a theme have a question, say, for example, I didn't really have a good interaction with someone who I presented to. And I asked my mentor, could I have approached this differently so that the person was more receptive of my idea? And then he guided me on how to do that. And he spoke about body language and figuring out where that person is, if they're having a terrible day. So knowing where they are in that moment. And that was actually so helpful for me. The third tip that I want to share with you is just show gratitude. So if you have a mentor, your mentor, like I said, is taking the time to invest in you and invest in your growth. So take the time to appreciate, to thank them, to show gratitude in some way. They're often giving you advice and things, and they want to know if it's working. Even though they may not ask or say that. Personally, like, I would want to know if my mentee has got promoted or overcame something that she was very scared or nervous about. Like, it's always nice to get feedback. But in saying that, if you're a mentor, it's also nice to show your gratitude that this person is willing to be vulnerable with you and share their feelings and share how they approach things. So again, it's that two-way relationship, but always show gratitude. If you have any mentorship learnings or mentee learnings and advice or best practices, please leave them in the comments below. I would love to hear them. Even if you have any questions, I'm here to answer them for you. And if you haven't already, please hit like and subscribe for all tips and advice, guidance, and personal stories on how to thrive in corporate. Until then, keep thriving.